Okay, we're ready to
Okay,
go.
we are back for the third time.
Yeah, the third time, the third time, but also I guess kind of the second time in a way because it's only episode two because we had an episode zero. So really, every single time we do an episode, it's one number less than the amount of times that we've actually done this.
Just like in coding, like the numbers or the index begin with zero.
There you go. That's right. That's right. That's why we did it that way. And then, like I mentioned, I created a little banner. So because we aim to be of the highest production quality here at
For our
12 Hour
viewers.
Podcast. Yeah, yeah. That's the point. We aim always to have the highest production value of any YouTube channel in existence.
And we are living up to that.
Yes,
We should be
always,
proud.
always, always. I actually think
And
there's.
and you know what? Numerically speaking,
Mm.
our viewers have doubled and our subscribers have doubled.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, that's true.
Anybody who is watching shouldn't be surprised because our podcast is so good. It's a success.
We could just quit right now. We don't even have to continue. We don't have to do these ever again. Like we've hit a real big milestone. 2 subscribers. It's a big deal.
Yeah, this is gonna pay off its dividend for like ever.
Yeah, exactly. Our original goal was to hit 1 million, but I figured two. It's pretty close.
Why not?
It's pretty close. We don't need to continue anymore. This is it's actually pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see that people are watching. So hello to all of you in the ether of the internet. It's good to have you here, and welcome to 12 Hour Podcast. For those who don't really know what this is, I think for the next little while it might be good to explain to people like what our vision is, why we're doing this, what we aim to achieve. What's the purpose of this podcast? What do you think, Amit? I don't know. We've never really discussed it.
Sure. So for me, one of the reasons for doing this is to feel productive
Sure.
because I think we have some empty slots or empty time at our hands, and this is one of the good ways to utilize that.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I really feel productive after having a 1 hour podcast. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I don't get these days are really weird where and I think a lot of people can relate to this where it becomes very difficult to maintain relationships, I think, nowadays. People are much more accustomed to staying at home, to not doing as much. Maybe it's because of the cerveza virus that was out and about. Cerveza, just so you know, cerveza is because I know Spanish very well. Cerveza means beer, and there's a beer called Corona.
Uh,
You see what I did there?
so you are, but I'm really not sure. I haven't heard any news about Cerveza or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
yeah.
really going on?
Well, no, but I think ever since it happened, ever since the goings on of it, I think it changed a lot of how people interact. At least, not everybody, but I think a lot of people. They're more used to maybe the fact that it happened, they were at home a lot more and they got kind of used to it and maybe didn't interact with people as much. And I think there's sort of an ongoing element of this that's continuous where people just don't do as much anymore. They don't interact with people in person maybe as much. They're still not maybe going out as much as they used to pre Cerveza. So I don't know. At least for myself, it's that way. And I figure if it's that way for myself, then maybe other people are experiencing the same thing. And so, what I'm trying to say, this is a very long winded way very roundabout way of just saying that this is a great way for me to remain social. And that's really it. That's what I was getting at. That was the whole point of everything that I was saying.
I get you. I get you. The I can completely relate to that because the same thing is happening here.
Mm,
My friends and the people that I see around, they still have that some, what you can say, inertia or leftover effect from the lockdown.
yeah.
So even though everything is up and running again, there is some element of, how do we put it, uh, in a gentle way, how do we put that,
I know it's just it's lingering,
lingering. Yeah,
lingering.
that sums it up.
Yeah, yeah. Things are that what occurred, elements of it are lingering, are ongoing. So yeah, so for me it's that, but that's sort of I guess our selfish reasons for doing this. This is our that's our selfish reason. But what are we trying to I guess do for anybody that's watching? That's the other question. Besides the
Yeah,
selfish reasons, like what do we hope people what do we think people would have as a reason to keep coming back? Because I mean, I can't think of a good. I can think of maybe one or two good reasons,
yeah,
but
yeah. I think what we are doing is we are doing it in a positive sense with a positive intent.
mm,
So if that connects with people, they are bound to come back. Also, we will be trying to talk about a variety of things that is going to enhance their knowledge base, and we will be adding a perspective. And what I believe is listening to or learning about different perspectives can increase your own perspective or the worldview. What do you think about that?
yeah, I think that makes sense. I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. I think it's really important to hear what other people think about things. I think it also, the purpose I see of this podcast is to talk about things that maybe people don't know too much about, or maybe they had some I like they believe they understood something to be a certain way, and then we kind of dig deeper into it, and then we find out that our own preconceived notions or what we thought was true about something, in fact, is different. And I think that's
Hmm.
interesting. And I think also this podcast is good for people that just like to learn about a variety of things. And also maybe I mean I think there's a lot of content on different platforms where the production quality is really really high, but there's not really any substance to the content, right? There's no
Yeah,
real
it can go either way. Yeah.
yeah. So I think that that's the thing that I believe would be best is to not worry about production quality and try to make things look all fancy and beautiful and intriguing visually. I think that's kind of smoke and mirrors. I think it's better
Mm,
to focus on the content itself, which is essentially the conversations that we have between the two of us and the different things that we talk about. And the fact that, I mean, I think that if we find certain subject matter interesting, I think there's a high probability that maybe other people out there will find some of the things that we talk about interesting as well. Yeah. So those are
yeah,
my thoughts.
I completely agree. So
Yeah,
let's see how we can help others. I'm gonna ask you a question that
sure.
I observed while I was watching a previous podcast.
Oh, okay. You went and watched the whole thing?
Yeah, almost the whole.
I'm impressed. I don't think I'll ever really watch our podcast.
Of course, of course, I would skip some parts. I
Yeah,
wouldn't watch it in one go or something. I would keep forwarding it.
it's good. Good plan.
So, so the thing I observed was that you have a lot more energy than I do,
Oh, okay.
and maybe you can share with everyone how you get your energy or how you boost it.
I I think I have so much energy because I have ADD.
Is that it?
Probably. That's probably what it is. Because even if I don't have a lot of energy, even if I'm exhausted, I still can look energetic and it can
Hmm,
seem energetic. But I think it's just the way that my brain is. I think I'm just a little hyperactive.
I see.
Yeah.
So how does that feel?
Sometimes, wow, you're like my therapist now. I like this. So, so sometimes I observe myself or I think of myself afterwards and I'm like, man, I'm always so much more like energetic or seemingly bubbly compared to other people. And this is common. This is common. Like most people I find are not like this. Like I seem a little bit maybe crazy.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's good energy.
yeah, I think it's positive energy, but I this is how I think of myself. I'm like this guy's bonkers. This guy's a nut bar. Like just chill out, dude. Why can't you just be just relaxed like everybody else? I could be in a call with a variety like right now I'm looking for a new position, a new role to keep my career moving on a particular path. And because I don't know if I told you this or not, but I used to work for a company, a semiconductor company in the technology industry as like a program manager. So I got laid off a few months ago, which really sucks because I love that job. That job was amazing. Anyways, so now I'm in like these meetings with executives, and there could be 20 other people to me, and everybody's so chill. And the host will ask a question, and people answer, and they're like, all like you, just relaxed. And and then here I am with all this energy, but I can't help it. I just am who I am. I'm not going to hold back who I am. I'm going to be naturally me. But I can't help but think about the fact that I'm just, I don't know, in comparison, like bouncing off the walls. So that's what I think. That's what I think about that.
Okay. So I may look relaxed, and that might be because it's what early morning here, and you already know I have slept for like 4 hours only tonight.
Right.
So
Four
I don't
hours.
know. Yeah,
Okay, we're going to talk
I
about that
got
in a little bit. But, anyways, keep going.
yeah yeah I got home late, so that happened.
We're going to have to talk about your evening.
It was a quiet evening actually. I went out and there was just one friend that he asked me, let's go out, and we usually go to play ping pong on Fridays, but yesterday we didn't go for that.
Okay.
Instead, we went to a restaurant and just started drinking, and yeah,
Beautiful.
drinks and dinner, and then we got back home late, and
What were
then
you drinking?
I drink rum.
Rum. Okay. What kind of
Yeah,
rum?
it's red rum, and it's called Old Monk. It's the
Old Monk.
yeah, it's the best brand in India, in my
Old Monk
opinion.
is the best rum. Is it a dark amber or light rum?
Crimson, I would say,
Crimson. So it's an amber.
amber.
Amber, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up for everybody.
Yeah,
Let's do it. I'm gonna look up let's see. Let's see here. What's it called again?
Monk.
Old Monk rum. Oh. They have it here too. Ooh. Let me get
Ooh,
some. Well, I guess they have like a dark. It looks like they've got a couple varieties. Wow. Looks fancy. There's one in like this bottle that's a head.
yeah, that's their special
The legend.
batch. That's 12-year-old vatted.
Ooh, that looks amazing. I want that. Wine
To be
and
honest,
Whiskey Globe.
I've tried that,
Yeah.
and I feel the 7 year, that is the regular one, and 12 years, both are kind of same.
Yeah, you
They
can't
don't
really
have
tell the
much of a
difference.
difference.
Okay. Yeah, this is a dark. I think this is a dark rum. I mean, it depends on the light that's on it, because in some light it looks very dark. In other light, it looks more amber. Dark
Mhm.
rum can be like almost black.
Yeah, so it is not black,
Yeah. Okay.
it's amber.
Okay. I think it's amber too. It looks pretty good. And they
It
have it
tastes good
here.
too.
Yeah. So what do you mix it with?
I usually mix it with a strong cold drink that's called Thumbs Up. I don't believe Thumbs Up is available there.
Thumbs up. Okay, let's look that up too.
It's specially made for India by Coca-Cola.
Thumbs up. Oops, I put thumbs up. Thumbs up.
No, actually, you were
Drink.
right. It's not supposed to have B.
Oh, so it's THUMS.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Sorry, did you say this was like an energy drink?
it's similar to Coke, and it's a stronger version of Coke, basically.
Stronger version. Why would you need a stronger version of Coke?
More, more carbonation. That's it.
Oh, okay, just more carbonation. Okay, interesting. I've heard that if you put Coke on tarmac in the sun,
Tarmac.
tarmac like asphalt, like the stuff that they make. I don't know what they make the roads out of there, but here they make the roads out of, it's black. The
Uh,
tarmac, the asphalt,
yeah,
the
we have
whatever it's called.
concrete roads.
Well, oh, they make concrete roads there. I think they use concrete here. Pretty sure they use something called asphalt. Anyways, if you put it on it in the sun, it'll like start to bubble and it will like eat away at the
Yeah,
road, at the material that the road is made out of. Heard that.
yeah. Coke is known to be a toxic chemical. It's
Wild.
sometimes used as a toilet cleaner.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah,
I was actually going to
I don't
mention
know
that.
how true is that. I don't know, but
Well, we're going to
yeah,
look it up right
I've
now.
seen videos.
We're going to look it up right now. We're definitely going to look that up.
Yeah, because we don't want to spread misinformation to our millions of
That's
viewers.
exactly. That's the last thing we would ever want to do. 100%. Can Coke be used as a toilet cleaner? If I can spell. If I could spell. Toilet cleaner. The fizzy drink can actually remove hard to clean stains on the inside of a toilet bowl. Yikes. You can either pour cola directly onto the stains themselves or cover the entire inside of the bowl by putting cola into a spray bottle and spraying on a light coating. Yikes. That's not good. And you're drinking that?
But the question is it really the chemical doing that or the carbonation?
Mmm.
We are not sure about that.
I'm sure there's got to be studies on that.
Hmm.
Okay, now we have to look that up. So, Des, I have
We
to
can
find
look
out.
for what's that clean soda called?
Does the
Regular soda,
carbonation or the
carbonated water.
chemicals within cola?
Let I'll ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. I should actually pull ChatGPT up on this. Let's do that. Let's go to ChatGPT because that'll be. I think I've got to create an account. I should create an account for us, a ChatGPT, a 12-hour podcast ChatGPT account. I'm going to do that in a moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to look up on Google for now. Does the carbonation or maybe it's the right, is it?
Okay, so GPT says that it is a combination of acidity in Coke and the
Oh,
carbonation.
well, there you go. You got the answer way faster than me. Wow, that's wild. That's freaky. Why would people drink that? I don't drink soda. Well, I shouldn't say I don't drink soda. I drink sodas very, very rarely. Once in a while. Not too often. What's your soda of choice besides Thumbs Up?
None at all. I only use it as a mixer.
Okay. So rum and Thumbs Up. Any lime?
Nothing. It
That's it.
tastes good on its own, and the rum that I mentioned is vanilla flavored, so it
Oh,
gives a very peculiar taste. And once you get used to it, it's hard to get used to any other brand.
Interesting. Vanilla flavored rum. Okay. Okay. Flavored rum can be pretty good. Definitely. I'm not a big rum drinker. I'm more of a tequila guy.
Mm.
Yeah. I like
So
tequila a
you
lot.
prefer shots.
No, so I don't like that tequila. That tequila that people take shots with, although you can use nice tequila to take shots with, and people do. But a lot of times, if you're doing a shot of tequila and you're just asking for a shot of tequila, you're going to get like the bottom, like the really basic tequila that is going to burn your throat, and it's not very good. It's just not, it's
Okay.
not good stuff. So I like higher end tequila, something like Patron or Cabo Wabo. Even not that it's higher end because it's not, but El Jimador is pretty good for an inexpensive and not high end type of tequila. Don Julio is really good. There's some really good brands of tequila. Maybe I should mention these brands once we become big enough, so that way maybe they, send some of that tequila over this way, and we'll just
Maybe they
they'll be our
maybe they are
sponsor.
watching right now
Yeah,
and
maybe there are two.
they contact you to be a sponsor.
Maybe they are our two subscribers. Maybe Don Julio and Patron are our two subscribers.
What are the odds?
Yeah, I bet. I'll put a bet on it. There's a really interesting story. I always like this story of this tequila brand. Have you ever heard of Casa Amigos?
Oh no.
Casa Amigos. So Casa Amigos,
House of Friends.
House of Friends. That's right. There you go. You know your Spanish. Okay. So this was a brand started by George Clooney
Ah,
and somebody else. George Clooney and some guy. I don't remember. I can look this up too. And I'll double check that this story is accurate, but I'm pretty sure it's correct. But as far as I know, the story is that George Clooney and this guy who I'll look up started this tequila brand. They got very successful. They sold it to a larger conglomerate. I think like Jose Cuervo or one of these bigger brands, and they sold the brand. They sold the recipe for $1 billion. It's crazy. I'm gonna fact check that, but I'm pretty sure that that is accurate.
it is possible.
Yes, let's look it up. So, what is the story of Casa Migos? Okay, founded by George Clooney and Rand Gerber. While vacationing together in Mexico in 2010, the two celebrity friends sampled their fair share of tequila from bars and restaurants, from tequilas that were bad to decent to too expensive. The two finally decided to make one of their own that would be perfect. Okay, so there you go. There's that part of the story. Who did, who bought, or what company bought Casamigos? Casamigos. Parent organization Diageo, I think I'm saying it correct, has been owned by Diageo since 2017. We're going to look up what other brands Diageo owns. That'll be interesting. Maybe they own Jose Cuervo or something like that. But anyways, okay, so how much did Diageo buy Casamigos for? The name Casamigos comes from the Spanish casa house and Migos friends. That's House of Friends. Yeah, it was purchased in June 2017 by the multinational beverage company Diageo for 700 million plus up to a further 300 million based on the brand's performance. So I was pretty close. It's 900. No, that's right. That
Oh,
is
that's
1
exact
billion. Yeah,
1 billion.
I was doing the math incorrect in my head for a second there. Yeah, that's $1 billion. There you go. Okay, so What other brands does Diageo 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 own? Captain Morgan, Guinness, Bailey's,
Uh,
Crown Royal, Tanqueray. Wow, they're huge. Johnny Walker, Smirnoff. Wow, Lagavulin, Cardew. Wow, they own some big brands. Okay, Singleton. Okay, so they own some huge brands, but not Jose Cuervo. Okay, so I got that part of it incorrect. But still, well, they own 200 brands. Okay, so they could own. I'm not gonna keep going with that, but they could own Jose Cuervo. But yeah, close enough. Close
yeah,
enough.
and Captain Morgan is also a brand that is available in India, and
Hmm.
it's the competitor of Old Monk. So whenever
Okay.
we are out and Old Monk is not available, that's the second choice.
Okay, there you go. They've got like a spiced rum too, don't they?
Captain Morgan,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have a spiced rum. Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
confident on that. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Interesting stuff. All right, so I was going to ask you this question because I noticed on our, um, if I go to our YouTube channel that has an impressive amount of videos on it, there is a there's a logo, a very interesting orange logo that
Ah,
what is that?
it's a podcast mic, and
Oh,
it was generated by AI.
oh, okay. It's a podcast microphone
Yeah.
generated by AI. Interesting. I thought it was very interesting. I saw there was a cross, and I was looking at it, I'm like, is this like supposed to be a mixture of a variety of religious symbols? That's what I thought
Maybe
it was at
AI is
first.
religious.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Okay, interesting. That's cool. Yeah. Somehow we got to adjust the banner at the top so that's not so zoomed in and you can actually see the words 12-hour podcast.
Yeah, I tried to fit it, but somehow the resolution is just not right. But
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay for now. It's not a big deal. Again, we're going for very low production quality, but high value of content.
Yeah, we are focusing on content quality.
Exactly. Okay.
And we are not even focusing, we are just going with the flow.
Yeah, well,
Let the
that's
quality take take care of its own.
mhm. That's the thing. That's the other part of this too. To answer that question I had earlier, really for the two of us, is what do we aim to, like, how are we providing value or what are we trying to give to an audience? And I think just something that's really free form, non-scripted content that's just a discussion about stuff that we find interesting and hopefully other people find it interesting, and yeah, and we'll just see what happens.
And most importantly, it is free of any agenda.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I like that part of it too. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I mean, you can't really be completely free of an agenda, but free of an agenda that is, I think there could be varieties of different types of agendas. I think our agenda really is just to do something, like you said, that's fun, enjoyable, have an interesting discussion. That's the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then just in the hopes that other people also find the discussion interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe what I meant was without any manipulating agenda.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Without that kind of agenda. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of content I think out there that's like that, where they're trying to be able to get people to view their content so that way they can earn a living from it and that's their main focus. Like that's how they're
Yeah,
delivering their content. It's with that in mind, not really necessarily with and sometimes that won't necessarily always lead to something bad. It's just, and I'm not saying that's necessarily bad. I'm just saying that I think at times that can maybe not get the type of content that is in the best interest of an audience. Let's just say,
I agree.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It can even make someone unfollow you. I have done that many times.
yeah,
If I feel that a content creator is using too much of his videos for marketing, then
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to follow them anymore.
yeah. There's one or two channels that I know that are like that, and I won't say what channels they are, but there's one or two that I know that I still follow, and they do that, and I really don't like that they do that at all. It's like it's really I don't know, it's like this dirty, weird sort of vibe that you get. But the only reason why I continue to follow is because there's still enough times that there's a good amount of value that I get out of their content. So, and I kind of need to get certain information. Like these channels I'm talking about are more like for information purposes, to understand a particular industry, to understand it on a deeper level. And I guess I could do that in a variety of ways, but when they have good content, it is very helpful. So I guess I take the good with the bad with those channels.
Yeah, it's a trade-off.
It's a trade off. It's a trade off. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think that if we can continue to just always keep this free form, random discussion, however, however the discussion goes, let it just unfold naturally and organically. I think, and we don't really, again, we don't focus on any sort of production value. We do maybe just some basic things. Then I think that's plenty good enough.
Mm.
Yeah.
And maybe I think in future the creators won't have to put any ads. Now
Mm,
the AI is so strong, it can analyze a video, the transcript of the video, and it can decide that this is where our ad should go.
mm. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe. Do you find that there's a lot of channels now that during their videos, whatever they're posting, in amongst that, they're also advertising products on their own within the video itself? And they're trying to either do it in a way that seems kind of seamless and not so obvious. Some channels maybe are a little bit more obvious about it, and it's like really blatant, like this is an ad, and and it's happening. But other channels are sort of, it seems a little bit more subtle.
So for that, I would give an example of TVF. It's currently the best content creator in India.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
it makes a lot of web series and movies also. And whenever they are doing some product placement in their videos, they are very subtle with it and they mix it with the storyline.
Hmm.
So it's an ad, but it's still digestible.
Hmm. What do you think about that versus an obvious ad that is being promoted by the content creator within the video itself? Like, do you have a preference? Do you think that one is better than the other?
I would say if the creator is honest about it and says, okay, for 2 minutes, I'm going to just talk about this product.
Hmm.
If you are not okay with it, you can skip or something like that. Then I think that's okay.
Yeah,
That's more acceptable.
yeah, yeah. That's fair. I think it also depends on the content creator. Like, if you get the vibe from the content creator that they are somebody with integrity and they're genuine and they're an authentic person, and you get the impression that they wouldn't just advertise any product, but they would advertise only products that they actually believe in and that they would actually use, and that they probably researched a good amount to make sure that they're a good product to
Mm.
link their name to. Then I'm okay with that. I think that's okay. Sometimes I kind of want to learn about those products that those content creators are interested in.
I follow a channel, and the guy is very genuine, very nice, and he clearly mentions about the product placements. Of course, he is promoting a brand that I don't like. So,
Hmm.
but still, that doesn't mean I don't like the person himself.
Sure, sure.
For me, he's still one of the best creators.
Okay, here's an interesting question for you. So, what
Mhm.
about a scenario where there's a content creator that you really like, you really respect, and you think is like a really good, honest person, and you connect well with, you can really relate to. But then they end up promoting a product that you think is really just not a good product. And it seems to be kind of like really strange that they're advertising this particular product because a you just don't think it's like a beneficial product for anybody to really purchase. You don't think it really has the right kind of value to have people consuming. Like, what would you make of that? How would that sit with you? Would you lose any sort of respect for that content creator? Would you just be confused? Would you not think too much about it?
As I said, if it happens too often, then I would unsubscribe.
Hmm.
And I have done that. One of the top creators of India, he started to promote protein powder a lot. A
Okay.
brand of protein powder that he was a brand ambassador for or something. He
Hmm.
started to promote that a lot. So I was like, it's not really necessary to be promoting that every video.
Yeah. 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 I think that, I mean, I know that from my understanding, there's these agreements that take place between companies that will sponsor you. And they wanted the part of the contract and part of the deal and agreement is like you have to promote the product a certain amount with a
Mhm.
certain amount of frequency, and there has to be a certain amount of time that you talk about their product. You have to say certain maybe keywords. I think that probably is how, I don't know for sure, but I think that's likely how some of those contracts are. So I wonder if like
Yeah,
a content creator like that would just be talking about it really often because they're kind of forced to. But then you would think like maybe they shouldn't be signing deals like that. Maybe they shouldn't be making deals like
exactly.
that in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There has to be a limit for that. They have to find the right balance
Hmm. Yeah, maybe people
before they
get too
start
enticed
losing
by
the
money.
followers. Yeah, that is always there. And the creator I'm talking about, he's a very rich guy. He has a very high income. He keeps talking about his income also.
Hmm.
So there is no dearth of money for him. And
Hmm.
to see him doing such kind of product placement was kind of worky.
Yeah, that seems strange. That seems really strange. Yeah, I mean, if you don't need the income, then you could be really selective about what
Mm.
products you're advertising.
And in India, it's actually very bad situation. I'll tell you, there are top actors who charge like millions and billions for one movie,
Hmm.
but they still are promoting gutkas. Have you heard of gutkas?
Good Cass. Good Cass?
Uh, you can maybe pull it up.
Yeah. Let me pull that up.
G U
Let's see. Let's look this up. GU.
T
Yeah.
K H A,
K
gutka.
A. Oh, Goodka. Goodka. Is it chewing tobacco? Is that right?
Yeah, it's a form of tobacco.
Chewing tobacco preparation made of crushed areca, areca nut, also called
Yeah,
betel nut
yeah, betel nut.
or betel nut. Okay, okay. Uh, Tobacco, cat chew, paraffin wax, slaked lime, which is calcium hydroxide and sweet or savory flavorings in India, Pakistan, other Asian countries, and North America. Okay, I guess that's where you can find it. It contains carcinogens, is considered responsible for oral cancer and other severe negative health effects, and hence is subjected in India to the same restrictions and warnings as cigarettes. Interesting. It's highly addictive.
Mm.
And and this content creator or you're saying actors are promoting it.
Yeah, top actors.
That's really strange.
And they really don't need any money. Why would they do that? They are getting a lot of heat from the fans, but still they don't stop doing that. They have been doing it for years.
They're showing red stains of gutka. It's called gutka?
Yeah, gutka. And
Gutka on
these red
walls.
stains are also actually a menace.
Jeez.
The eaters of gutka, they spit everywhere and spoil the walls, public places, and all.
Jeez.
That's very bad.
That looks awful.
Yeah.
Holy jeez, look at this. Use of gutka and other forms of tobacco are culturally ingrained and use can begin at a young age. Smokeless tobacco use is more common in India, where oral cancer accounts for 30 to 40% of cancer cases. Its use has been
Wow.
reported in Thailand, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, a whole bunch of places. Wild. A New York Times article reported in 2002 that sales of Gurkha and the tobaccaless version, Pan Masala, reached $1 billion a year.
Yeah, it's a big industry,
Holy moly. Do you,
almost
do you
as big
think
as alcohol.
do you think that it's possible that these companies could have something on these actors where they
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I feel that there are some people from underworld involved.
yeah, like maybe they have
Maybe they
something
are,
on them.
yeah, maybe they are doing it at gunpoint or something.
Oh, it seems strange.
But still, it is something that if it is happening, it should be raised awareness about. I know
Wild.
they might be afraid for their life, but still, if it's happening on that scale, it can be very corrupting.
Makes me wonder what sort of influence and how a big company like that maintains their influence. Besides, getting actors to promote their products. Like what else are they
It's addictive.
doing?
It's an addictive product, so they don't have to do much.
And it said that young kids are having this product. There's no restriction on age for when you can use this product, or there is, but kids just use it
On
anyways.
paper, on paper, there are restrictions, but nobody really cares.
So if you're a kid, like, where do you buy this? You buy this at a store? I guess you just go to like a convenience
Yeah,
store, a
there are
local.
no, there are local pan stores everywhere.
Oh, they're called pawn
They're like,
stores. Okay.
yeah, they're very small, like 4 feet by 4 feet. That's all the space they need.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the less overhead, the better.
Mm,
They don't need it. So kids can go in, even though they're not supposed to be selling to these kids, they'll just sell it anyways. Nobody will really say anything. Is that what's going on?
yeah,
Wow. Jeez, that's bad. Hmm.
and it's very common too. That's worse.
Jeez. What do you think is the way around that? I mean, you would hope that the way around that would be some sort of enforcement of the law, but I guess
There
maybe.
is always a workaround. That's the problem. So it's not that gutka hasn't been banned. It
Hmm,
has been banned in many places, in many cities. Still, they are being sold as, you know, black market.
jeez.
That's twice or thrice the price. That still is happening.
So, and do you think maybe the solution is education?
Uh, I'm not sure if education is the answer to that, because mm, I think we'll have to think about it a lot more. Like, maybe the solution won't be coming anytime soon or in this video.
Yeah, luckily, likely we won't be the ones to come up with a solution to that.
Mm. But yeah, we can at least count a few influencing factors.
Sure.
One of them has to be the adults that are doing that in public places.
Sure, they're kind of
Like,
the role models for these kids, right? Kids see adults doing, they're
yeah,
like, ah, whatever, that's it's okay,
yeah.
or it's
So in
cool.
some cities, smoking is banned in public places.
Hmm.
So if they can implement something like that, like go ahead and do, knock yourself out, but don't do it in public. Maybe that can start to reduce the impact.
What are some signs besides, I guess, this? Because I guess people are spitting when they're using this tobacco, right? But
Yeah,
and I guess it must be really bad to swallow that stuff, right? You want to
yeah,
kind of spit it out, right?
yeah.
But I guess that's the telltale sign that somebody's doing it. I think it's probably hard to hide that you're chewing on this tobacco
Oh
if
yeah, the
yeah.
teeth get brown. They have stained teeth, red lips, or something like that.
Jeez.
Y- you can
Jeez.
spot a gutka eater a mile away, and that
Jeez.
smells too. It
Oh,
has a peculiar smell.
oh really? Wow. Wow. So it's very obvious. Yeah, I mean that would be good. Why do you think that there's no enforcement or I mean so you're saying there's no law right now that bans people from doing this in public places?
Again, on paper, there is a law.
Okay.
You can't, uh, on paper, in theory, you can't even drop a piece of paper here
Okay.
as a garbage.
Okay.
You will
On the
be fined
ground.
for that. But yeah, nobody
People just do
follows
it.
that.
Right. It's not enforced. Right. Yeah, that's tough. I know it's not like that in Singapore.
Yeah, I agree. Western countries are a lot more disciplined about that. I've been to Dubai and it's very strict. And they are so strict that during Ramzan, nobody's even allowed to eat outside. Did you
Hmm.
know that?
Hmm. I didn't know that, but I recently watched a video, a short video, like one of those shorts on YouTube that was describing some of the different laws and restrictions in Dubai, and some of them blew my mind. Like you
Yeah.
cannot dry clothes outside.
Mm,
You get like huge fines if you dry clothes outside. You cannot if you have a girlfriend or a wife, you can't talk you can't say things that are even remotely offensive to them. And if you have done that, let's say, and it was recorded in a phone call or in text message, and then your girlfriend or wife goes to the authorities and shows that, you can, like, even if you just said, like, I just think you're a bad person and I don't like
mm.
you, like, literally something like that, it's like really not, that's not a bad thing to say. You can be fined.
Yeah, they are pretty strict.
Yeah, it's wild
The
stuff.
laws are pretty strict there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Just crazy. It's freaky. It's like a whole bunch of wild laws that they have there. I don't
And
know.
I think enforcement there is possible because it's not really a corruptible city.
Hmm.
The the people in power, they are already very rich, so they don't need any corruption to survive. So I think that is where a major difference comes into picture.
I've heard that some of the really wealthy people there help to control the weather by spending like
Mm,
trillions of dollars to place artificial clouds in the sky so it'll rain. I've heard that. Have you heard
Yeah,
something similar?
I've heard that, and it's probably happening because you can actually make it rain using lasers.
That's crazy. You can make it rain using lasers?
Yeah, there is some technology. I'm not sure what is it called, but they
We're
do
going to find
use
out
that.
about it in a second. I'm looking it up. You can make it rain using lasers. Okay. Can you make it rain using lasers? Filaments of light. Such pulses are intense enough to modify the refractive index of air, which causes the beam to focus itself. This further increases the intensity, producing filaments of light that are intense enough to ionize the air and initiate condensation. Wild. How does that work, though? Because
That just explained that.
the moisture has to already be in the air, so I guess it forces the moisture that's in the air to be to sort of be attracted to itself and to form into more dense areas than it normally would without these lasers being pointed at them. Is that what happens?
So, from what you just said, what I can gather is that laser is ionizing the air,
Okay,
and due to that ionization, the water molecules are getting attracted, and
right.
that is a form of condensation.
Wild. That's crazy. But then I wonder if there's sort of like a balancing effect too, right? Because if 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 this moisture in the air that already exists there is being forced to be attracted to itself, then there's areas of or pockets of air that normally would have a certain level of moisture in it that no longer do and that are much
Yeah,
drier than they normally would be. So I wonder what the potential effects are in that regard.
global warming.
Yeah, would it be?
Yeah, because if you are making it rain more at one place, the other place is definitely going to get less rain
Yeah, or
because the
drier,
atmosphere is
yeah.
just one, the air is just one.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's wild. So is that the you think so you're saying that you're thinking that that's the process that they use in Dubai.
Yeah, maybe that or something other they have come up with.
Eh, um what's the question to ask? Do people in Dubai control the weather? Artificial
You
rain
know,
in the United Arab Emirates. Amidst the country's water insecurity arising from its intensely hot climate, UAE scientists harness cloud seeding to bolster water sources. Utilizing weather radar, they maintain constant surveillance of the nation's atmosphere. So they're cloud seeding. So that sounds like a different process.
mm, I've
Yeah.
never heard of that.
Yeah. And it looks like this was on a report by CBS. Are you familiar with CBS there in
Yeah,
India? Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, CBS has a report here. I'm gonna click it. It's so hot in Dubai that the government is artificially creating rainstorms. Wild.
and it's completely possible because I remember when I was a kid and when I lived in Dubai, it it never used to rain there, and now for last few years, it has started raining in monsoons.
Okay, let's look. What is the process of cloud seeding? Cloud seeding is the process of artificially generating rain by implanting clouds with particles such as silver iodide crystals. That doesn't sound good. After extensive testing, the CSIRO has determined that cloud seeding is unlikely to be effective in much of Australia. So they're doing this on
because it's
Australia, or trying to.
because Australia is pretty dry, I think.
Yeah.
So,
There's pictures. Dispersal of chemicals on the clouds, condensing of water vapor. Wild. But silver iodide. What's the process of cloud
maybe.
seeding in Dubai? Let's look it up specifically in Dubai. Hygroscopic cloud seeding uses natural salts such as potassium chloride and sodium chloride that pre-exist in the atmosphere with hygroscopic flares. By introducing hygroscopic particles, it enhances the natural rain particles, which begins a collision coalescence process.
So it acts as a coagulant.
That's crazy.
People are crazy.
Jesus. That's
At
wild.
at what point do we realize that we are playing with nature and we should take a step back?
I don't know. I mean, maybe this is nature. Maybe this is a natural progression of nature. Maybe.
Mm, like we've discussed before, the ultimate goal is to explode this planet.
Maybe the ultimate goal really, maybe we are the universe trying to understand itself.
That's true, yeah. We are that.
Yeah. I mean, we're nature. Like people say this really interesting thing, which boggles my mind, is they think that humanity is separate from nature. Like there's nature and then there's human beings, and they're like two different things. But we're nature too. So then it makes me think that anything that we're doing, maybe that is natural. Like people think of natural processes being only things that are not manipulated by human beings at all to any extent. But that means you'd have
Mm,
to completely eliminate humanity from this planet 100%. You have to eradicate humanity because even our mere existence and us breathing, even one person breathing on the planet is affecting the planet to some degree, even though it's a very small amount. So then by that argument, you'd have to say, well, if someone says, well, no, that's not really affecting anything. It's like so minuscule that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't make a difference. Okay. So then at what point does it make a difference? Like, how do you know where's the line? My
that's
argument,
exactly the question.
yeah. And then my argument is, but we are nature. Humanity is nature. So maybe this and all the things that we're doing to try to control the weather and control agriculture and having cows jam packed in these very small facilities so we can try to feed as many humans as possible and all these different things that happen, even these like unnatural things, the development of, of medicine that is specifically designed to help one person, all these concepts, maybe this is natural. Maybe all that is natural. Maybe this is just a very natural progression of nature to eventually get to that kind of point. What makes us assume that that is not how it is?
The reason I think people see humanity different from nature is because nature is self sustainable. It is a sustainable ecosystem. It keeps on going in cycles if it is allowed to. But as soon as the humans intervene, they bring in stuff like plastic that makes the whole process of being cyclical irreversible.
But that makes us assume that's an assumption. That's an assumption that this isn't part of some much larger cycle. Maybe this is a cycle. Maybe this is a cycle on a much larger scale that we can fathom. Maybe there's so many, like we talked about this I think before, the idea of the great filter. Like maybe this is that process. Maybe this has happened so many times before, and maybe it's happening on other planets right now. Maybe it's happened in the past over the billions of years, that trillions of years that the universe has been around. Maybe this is a very natural process.
So you're saying plastic is natural.
I'm saying that maybe it's a natural process for beings on a planet to get to a point where they're able to control their environment so much so that they have great massive impacts on that environment on a planetary scale. Maybe they get to the point where not only their impact is on a planetary scale, maybe it becomes on a solar system scale. And then maybe from a
Mm,
solar system scale, it maybe even gets to a galactic scale. Like maybe this is just a natural evolution of nature to do these sorts of things. And creating plastic, or seeding clouds or whatever, these different things are just a means of nature trying to advance itself into some other
mm,
form that we can't really think of. Or maybe the natural process is a planet has life on it. Some form of life gets intelligent enough or capable enough to have a wide impact on its environment on a planetary scale. So much so, and it might look different for different planets, but so much so that it actually makes the planet uninhabitable and makes that entire, like everything that lives on that planet, unable to live anymore. And maybe that's just a natural process.
yeah. So
I don't know.
you may have you heard of this theory that the universe goes through the cycles of Big Bang and Big Crunch?
Hmm.
So maybe what you're saying is related to that. Right now, the universe is stable and the galaxy is stable, and it needs something to get back to that crunch. And maybe humans or the aliens or any civilization that does is imbalance this structure of galaxy to begin that crunch. And once
Maybe,
that crunch happens again, there is a new Big Bang. The whole cycle repeats. So
maybe,
we are actually running things.
maybe,
So we are not really. So we are maybe destroying Earth, but we are helping the universe.
maybe. Who
Hmm.
knows? I think there's a lot of assumptions that we make, and I can understand how we get to those assumptions. And I'm not saying that that way of thinking is right. I'm just being playing devil's advocate. I'm just saying maybe
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are a variety of ways to think about this.
yeah. We are seeing different perspectives. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know what perspective is the right perspective. I don't know if that whole perspective.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody knows that.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that it's good to try to think about things from multiple angles because I don't know. I think it's a little bit healthier than
Hmm.
trying to decide that there's
I
only
agree.
one way of thinking about things.
And in fact, it is said to be good for our brains too. When
Hmm.
we do these kinds of mental exercises, we are
Hmm.
actually improving our brain. We are actually giving a boost to our brain cells.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think also to on your point too, I think that um, maybe this is sort of very, again, natural for the universe to go through these sort of cycles where the universe expands, collapses upon itself, and then expands, and it sort of does this type of thing. And
Keeps on
then,
oscillating.
yeah, it like oscillates, right? And then maybe that actually, in essence, makes time cease to exist and then kind of begin again. And then
Yeah.
maybe that creates. maybe that in essence is what creates multiple universes, that every time the expansion happens again, you get a brand new opportunity for there to be the
Right,
creation of a brand new timeline and the opportunity for us to go through another cycle of life, either
right.
to experience it or not
Yeah, maybe
ourselves.
that's what parallel universes are that people conceive of. So it's basically we are currently in this universe. We'll have to enter singularity somehow. And when we do that, that is only possible a way to get to another parallel universe, to get through the singularity first.
Yeah, maybe, maybe. And then maybe time is just circular.
Yeah. In fact, in Hindu scriptures,
Hmm.
it is said that time is cyclical.
Hmm.
You'd be surprised how advanced Hindu scriptures are when it comes to these theories, metaphysical theories,
Hmm.
and they sound really scientific and really accurate at times.
Hmm.
So
That's interesting.
even though it is expressed in the form of religious context, like it is said that the universe was created by a god named Brahma, and when Brahma sleeps, universe dies.
Hmm.
When Brahma wakes up, universe is born again.
Hmm.
So it's expressed in that way,
Okay.
but it kind of shows the cyclical nature again,
Hmm.
what science calls as Big Bang and Big Crunch.
Hmm. That's interesting. What do you think? Do you think there is a god or a higher power or creator, a creator of some sort?
It's hard for me to believe in a creator or a god,
Hmm.
but I do believe in a power, something that is bigger than us, something that connects us all.
Hmm.
I do really, really feel that and believe that there is some fabric that is connecting us all.
Hmm. I think this is my sort of way of thinking about whether or not there is a creator. Um, if we went to, let's say we go to Mars and ourselves land there, people land there, and when we get there, we see that there's, I don't know, a book. There's just a book lying in the middle of nothingness. And maybe we can't read it, but it's clearly like a book of some sort of text. Well, we'd naturally come to the conclusion that there had to have been like there's we wouldn't imagine that just this book with text and what looks like writing on it was formed from very natural processes. Like you would never come to that. You'd look at it and be like, oh my god, like where did this come from? Like there had to have been some sort of being that created it because it's formed and it's in a very specific structure. And yeah, like there's like it wouldn't make sense that rocks came together and then over time the way you know the weather on Mars was moving that it created this book or something like that. That doesn't make any sense. So I look
Right.
at the universe this way. If you look at the universe and the language that defines the universe, mathematics and the physics, there's a very specific structure to it.
Mm.
So to me, it's much more far fetched to say that this structure just created itself.
Mm.
That to me seems much more far fetched to say that. If you see like a very specific way that things are designed, it seems like there's a very specific design to everything. The only, I think, logical conclusion you could come to is there had to have been some sort of creator.
Mm.
That's my
That's an
argument for a
interesting take.
creator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an interesting take because sometimes when things seem so perfect in balance and geometric in nature, people are bound to ask if it is just by chance or there was some intelligence behind that.
Yeah.
Even the scientists ask that. Even the philosophers do that.
Yeah. Seems, I mean, that would be, I think that would be unbelievable if that was, if it just came from absolute nothingness in terms of no influential power helped to create this something from nothingness, that it was done all by itself within itself. But then, in essence, that's kind of the idea of God, anyways.
Hmm.
The idea of God is that it's created from, God can create even its own energy. It comes from nothingness, comes from in itself.
Yeah, there's
So,
always an argument for that. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if we'll ever have the answer to that. I don't think it's possible to
No,
have the answer to that.
yeah, that's the beauty of it. There are billions of answers, and you're free to choose which one fits well with you.
Yeah.
And there, it doesn't have to be same answer for all your life too. You
Yeah.
can change it like every month, every year. You don't have to stay with the same answer because we are evolving, we are learning, we are
Yeah.
constantly learning new things, experiencing new experiences.
That's true. That's absolutely true. Where do you think we're going to be as a civilization in like 50 years?
Okay. I think we have already talked about cold fusion. So
Yeah.
I believe in 20 years we are going to achieve cold fusion. And if that continues, we'll be having high powered devices in our hands. And to be honest, I don't see anybody doing any physical work in future. Everything will be created by robots and communication. And basically, everyone, not everyone, but uh, the rich people will be living in pods. Like now they have Apple Vision. You saw that? The
Right.
new device,
I haven't
Apple
seen the
Vision
new Apple
Pro.
Vision.
Oh man, that's like crazy. That's sci-fi stuff.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
So just
Apple
imagine the
Vision.
whole body version of that. You are living in that pod and you don't have to mobilize at all. So I think 50 years from now, rich people are going to be just pods.
Apple Vision Pro. Okay. Okay.
And
So
this
this
is not
is,
promoted.
no, we're not that big of a channel yet to be promoted. It looks pretty
But
wild. So,
yeah, but you are gonna send us some samples. We are most
this is
uh,
wild.
happy to get it.
Have you? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd try it out. Have you? Did you ever try Oculus?
No, VR technology is not that big here.
Okay. So, have you seen any videos on it?
I've seen the video of this Apple Vision Pro, and
Okay.
it's insane.
Yeah, I'll try to explain. It's very similar to Oculus, but Oculus is designed specifically for more like video games. So, Oculus is a really wild experience. Um, Basically, you decide on an area in a room that you're going to want to play video games in, literally like a space, right? And you, and I mean, I think the space has to be a certain, like, it has to be of a certain dimension. But, anyways, so you decide a space in your room, you put on the headset. It looks similar to this Google Vision. And when you put on the headset, you can see everything in your environment that you can regularly see without the headset on, but everything kind of looks like black and white. And then you can also see the designated area that you're going to play a video game in. It's like it's got it's sort of got like an outline to it. You can see into it and out of it. And you just see your room as it is with just like an outline of where your space is that you're going to play games in.
Hmm.
And you walk into the space, and as soon as you get into that space that you've designed, that you've decided that you're going to play in, you're immediately transported like
Mm.
into this virtual environment. So like everywhere you look, it's this virtual environment. It's sort of, I guess, like the UI. You're like inside of the UI itself. And the UI that I placed at a friend's house, and the way he set up the UI is it looks like you're in this like futuristic apartment. And there's like this big window on one side, and you can see like a whole city. And as you approach the window, you can see like further down, like you can, it's like you can like look down the window and you can see a street there and cars passing. It's wild. And there's this, it's like a room. There's this whole room. There's like a fan spinning in it. And then you got a video game console and you can
Mm.
pick up things in the room. You can throw it across the room. It's like extremely interactive. And then you can start the video game console. And as you start it up, there's another part of the UI shows up in front of you, just like the Google Vision, where you can see all your apps in front of you. You can see this sort of screen in front of you, and you can kind of like look around the screen. But no matter where you look, it kind of follows you, or it kind of like angles depending on how you're looking at it. And then you like use your hand. You can see your hands in front of you, but they're like virtual animated kind of hands.
Okay.
And you can actually like it really gives you the sense that you're touching the screen in front of you and selecting things. It's very interactive. It's wild. It's a really wild
It gives you a
experience.
sense. So you are wearing some gloves.
So when I say it gives you a sense, it gives you the sense like in your mind, like psychologically, gives you a
Uh-huh.
sense like in terms of like you can't like feel it like physically or anything, but it gives you an impression. Is what I'm trying to say. You have the impression that you're really touching the screen, even though there's nothing that you
But yeah,
actually feel as a sensation.
but yeah, that would be much more realistic if we have those
Oh
gloves
yeah, that'd be wild.
and you are touching a wall and it gives you an impulse of touching or something.
Yeah, that well maybe that's you know
That's gonna mess up the brain.
yeah. And what's really challenging, here's the really weird part, is when you're inside of this video game essentially, and you play certain games where you have to move in the game, like big distances. The only way to do that so far is to press your control. Like you have like controls, so you press your control to move you forward. So you can see yourself moving within the game, but you're not actually moving. And it's like this weird sort of vertigo that happens. It takes a while to get used to it because your brain's confused. It's like you have this idea that you're moving because it like visually it looks like you're actually moving, but you're also
Mhm.
standing still. It's very
Yeah, the brain
strange.
cannot mix that up, and
Yeah.
of course, it will give you nauseated feelings.
Yeah, it could. It could. It takes a while to get used to it. The first little bit is very strange. You have to just, I don't know, you have to get past it. Anyways, so I think that's pretty cool, the Google
Yeah, so
Vision
50
thing.
years from now, the rich people that are living in pods, they are basically in their own metaverse. They are experiencing a different world detached from us, spending all their money there on lavish things that they are not able to get here.
Yeah, I believe that everything there is actually a process that a lot of people are not really paying enough attention to, which is this crypto market that is doing exactly what you're talking about. Right now, as of today, there are hundreds of millions, billions of dollars of actual real world money that is flowing into this digital economy that's known as the crypto market. That's happening right
Mm.
now. And
Yeah,
people are not paying enough attention to it. They're just discounting it. They're like, this is nothing. This is just a fad. I don't think this is a fad.
no. In 50 years, it is everything is going to become a different digital world. And by the time you realize that, it will be too late. You'll
Yeah.
feel like an oldie there.
I think Bitcoin and these things are just the first steps in this process.
Yeah,
And I think that it's safer for people to not discount it. Doesn't mean you have to get involved. Doesn't mean you have to buy Bitcoin, think that. But I think just pay attention and try
be
to
aware.
be aware and try to ask yourself, like, there are a lot of people around the world. A lot. It's not like there's, just I don't know, a few people that are into this thing. There's hundreds of millions of people that are quite involved in this market and very powerful people too. Very powerful. So
Yeah,
there's something going on. This
yeah,
isn't just nothing.
they are they are hopeful of digital future. That's it. That's the only difference. The people who are not able to visualize a digital future, they are not believers of this. Like, there are people, rich people who have invested in metaverse properties.
Mhm.
These are like just, what are they? These are just location on a map, and that location doesn't even
Yeah.
exist.
It's just a
It's a
bunch of
pin
ones and
on a map.
zeros.
It's a fake map, virtual map, and there's a pin on it, and you
Yeah.
have bought that pin
Yeah.
for millions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that people don't realize is value is only determined by the amount of people that are interested in something.
Yeah, that's the whole crux of it. Value increases with the amount of people believing in it.
Yeah. It's a network effect. That's all
Yeah,
it is. So if you have like our money is there's no intrinsic value to it whatsoever. The only reason why it has value is because everybody agrees that it has value.
agreed.
And it's like that with anything, with diamonds, with gold. Do you know that a lot of diamonds are just manufactured now?
Yeah, lab grown diamonds.
Yeah,
They are a growing industry, and
yeah,
they cost like 1/5 or 1/6 of the real diamonds,
yeah,
and they have no difference at all.
yeah. No difference at all. We can manufacture our own. And I think like De Beers or like one of these companies, they actually hold a crazy. I've heard this. They hold a large chunk of all the world's diamonds in a vault somewhere, and
Hmm.
they decide when to release those onto the market, and they do that because it creates scarcity, which drives up the price.
Yeah,
So yeah, like if we found a planet that was just all diamonds, it was a
then it will
diamond
lose value.
planet. Yeah, diamonds would just be like anything else. Like, do we
We
like,
we already have that, right? One of the Jupiter's moon, they say that it rains diamonds there.
that's wild. But I don't think is it the same sort of diamonds like that are made from
Maybe it would
carbon?
need some. Maybe it would need some processing, but
Yeah,
it would
maybe.
be some kind of diamond.
I gotta look this up too. Let's look up.
Raining diamonds on
Yeah.
Jupiter moon.
Which of Jupiter's moons rains diamonds? Diamonds. Define the diamond rain phenomenon. It's hypothesized that on some of Jupiter's moons, such as Europa and Ganymede, where the conditions might be suitable in some subsurface layers, the carbon elements might undergo a similar transformation. That's all it says there. Let's look a little bit deeper. That's a cool picture of it raining diamonds. Recent scientific speculation suggests that Jupiter's moon could be experiencing an extraordinary meteorological event, diamond rain. This phenomenon, believed to be present in the atmospheres of gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn, results from the unique pressure and temperature conditions found on these planets. While not yet observed directly, research and theoretical modeling offer insight into this dazzling possibility. It's a whole article on this.
Mm.
isp.page/news/Jupiter moon may rain diamonds an astronomical phenomenon. Cool.
So if we have a powerful spaceship that can go and return, it can carry tons of diamonds, then the diamond will probably lose the value.
Yeah, which we wouldn't even do anyways because we just create the diamonds here ourselves from
Yeah,
our own
yeah.
processes.
And soon diamonds are gonna be used for what they really are meant for, their strength.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they are no longer a jewel, I think, in future.
Hmm. I think people will still wear them because they just look nice. Just because it
Mm,
looks nice.
yeah, some stones may still have value, like there is Kohinoor.
What's that?
Have you heard of that?
What's that?
It it was supposed to be the biggest diamond of that time, made in India, and it was stolen by the British Empire.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Kohi
Kohi and
Noor.
Oor. I see it. How do you say it? Kohinoor?
Kohinoor.
Kohinoor.
And it's
Okay.
currently, I think it's in the Queen's crown. It's
Oh
part of the
yeah.
crown.
Yeah, it's showing that. Yeah. Also spelled Kohinoor. Kohinoor is one of the largest cut diamonds in the world, weighing 105.6 carats. Holy moly. It is part of the crown jewels of the United Kingdom. The diamond is currently set in the crown of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Wild. 3.6 centimeters long, 3.2 centimeters wide, 1.3 centimeters deep.
Okay, so it's this much maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of it right now. Insane. Looks massive. It's a big diamond.
Yeah,
Yeah, somebody holding it. Jeez. So that's supposed to be the largest diamond in the world?
one of the largest, and it used to be the largest when it was stolen.
Did it say, did I miss it? Did it say how much it's worth?
I don't think it has a monetary value.
Diamond, Cunor, diamond price around 20 billion US as of today, as of April 24th, 2023. So it could be worth more now.
Hmm. And
Craziness.
if someone sells that, it will have even more value every time someone sells it.
Well, yeah,
So
that's it.
I think it doesn't have any upper ceiling of value.
Wild. That's craziness. Blowing my mind. Blows my mind.
Yeah, that's the goal of the podcast.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
hope
it.
everyone watching this is also experiencing something similar.
I hope so, man.
Millions of minds blowing at a time.
Yeah, all around the world. Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty cool. I think, I mean, I can't remember if we talked about this before, but it's wild to think where we were just 70 years ago. I don't think a
Hmm.
lot of people really think about that. Like where humanity was just 70 years ago, just one generation of people, where we had like almost none of the technologies that we have nowadays. We're like a completely different race of human being in terms of what we're capable of, in terms of what we interact with on a day to day basis, in terms of our
Yeah.
conversations, in terms of the
What?
products we buy.
Why 70? I think humanity evolves every 20 years.
Well, yeah, I can see that. But I guess I was picking 70 because that's sort of about the amount of time that, like, I think the first cleaning products went onto the market, like
Is it?
household cleaning products.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think
The
it must be much before that. 100
what?
years
I don't
maybe?
think so. What were the first household cleaning products, like disinfectant products. The evolution of cleaning products, the earliest clean. Well, sure, you can go back like to prehistoric times, but I'm talking about like
Commercial.
manufactured, commercial, yeah, like where everybody, pretty much anybody, could get cleaning products, and they were inexpensive enough that anybody could purchase them. Yeah,
So I'm looking up for oldest commercial detergent.
manufactured. No, I spelled
That's
manufactured wrong.
1917,
Yeah,
manufactured by
1917.
Germany.
Okay, there you go. What was the name of the company?
Henkel.
Henkel. Okay.
I
In
think I've
eight,
heard that name.
I have here in 1898, B.J. Johnson developed the first formula for a liquid soap, since it was made of palm and olive oils. He called it Palmolive. It was an instant hit. The first liquid soap for household cleaning followed. It was made from pine oil and was branded as Pine Sol. So it really hasn't been that long since we had just basic technologies like that.
100 years.
Yeah. 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 A
Now
little
makes
bit
you
over 100
wonder.
years.
So 100 years ago, people weren't really washing hands.
Yeah. Not many people. Not many, but you'd wash maybe with water. But what about the water itself?
Yeah, water is contaminated. Yeah,
Water was
pure water
massively
hasn't always
contaminated.
been there.
Yeah. So you're not really washing your hands at all. You're just putting
And that is why,
contaminated water on it.
yeah, that is why the average lifespan was 40 years
Yeah.
back
People would
then.
die of a very small infection. They'd be like pulling roses from a rose bush, get a prick from a thorn, get an
So
infection, and just die.
a lady would be cooking and passing on the germs to everyone, and they
Oh
are
yeah.
dying of that.
Oh yeah. 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 Maybe making like soups from contaminated water.
Mm. Maybe they are eating chicken that wasn't really treated.
Yeah. Mind you, I wonder what that was all about too, right? Like what was the disease what were the diseases like from animals that were being consumed by humans at that time? Right? Because people did there was no like mass farming of livestock, as far as I know. That didn't happen until the Industrial Revolution. So people would just like breed their own chickens at home. As far as I know, people would breed their own animals at home, or they would buy from like a breeder, somebody just selling a cow.
I think breeding has been there for a long time. The animal husbandry and all that's been happening for a long time. So
Yeah.
it's not uncommon to have a local store in that era that sells mutton or
Hmm.
meat. I think
Yeah.
that would be pretty easy to find.
Yeah. A local store, sure. Or maybe you would have your own chickens at home or something, like in your, you
I
know,
think that would be very unlikely. That might have been possible 1,000 years ago, but I think not in the last century.
I want to learn that. How did people,
Or maybe you can look up when did animal husbandry decline?
when did animal husbandry, I'm not spelling that right, decline? There we go. Animal husbandry is a branch of agriculture concerned with animals that are raised. Includes day-to-day care. We all know that. Major changes took place in the Columbian Exchange when Old World livestock were brought to the New World, and then in the British agricultural revolution of the 18th century when livestock breeds like the Dishley Longhorn cattle and Lincoln Long Wool sheep were rapidly improved by agriculturalists such as Robert Blakewell to yield more milk, more meat, wool. Okay, so
18th century.
yeah,
That's when people stopped keeping animals at house and depended on the local store owners or something.
yeah, I suppose so. Huh. I wonder what. because there was nothing in place to be able to make sure that the animals you're consuming didn't have diseases. There was no way to end. There was no way to know whether or not they had a disease or something that or to.
Actually, the people who looked after the animals, they had this keen eye. They could spot some behaviors or the spots on the skins
Hmm,
that would give an early indication of some disease.
hmm,
So they would isolate those animals, or maybe just don't serve them for eating purposes.
hmm. But you wouldn't have so many that were in a very unnatural environment. I don't think. I can't imagine it being. I don't know. I wonder what it is in comparison, like the amount of or the percentage of animals back then when animal husbandry was going on, or I guess before that, when you had when you had people just taking wild animals, maybe putting them in a closed space, but there was a limited amount because you had to breed them yourselves on a much smaller scale. And like what the percentage of animals that
Sick.
were sick, yeah, in comparison to now.
I think there's always this percentage, 5%, that sounds about right, because in science, 5% is considered as, the error mark.
Hmm.
Anything below 5% can be neglected,
Hmm.
can be overlooked. Even companies keep a tolerance level of 5% return rate and losses, etc.
Hmm.
So I think in animals also 5% would be the mark of sick animals back then and today as well. If it were more, then it would have been a concern and people would have known about it.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. But I know I've heard of many people having these sort of sustainable farms where they try to have livestock or they try to have farms that will only include livestock in a more natural environment
Hmm.
in a manner where they're limiting the breeding that they're doing. They just allow for the animals to naturally breed themselves.
Yeah, I've seen those places in videos, of course. They treat animals well. Even I think, I think kosher meat is that. Am I correct?
I think kosher and halal is very similar.
Uh,
Yeah. So it has to, like, I know for both halal and kosher, the animals have to be cleaned a certain way. They have to be killed a certain way. They have to be taken care of a certain way. They have to be fed certain things.
right.
They, yeah, they have to be um, processed.
Grass fed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's grass fed. We're going to look this up too, but I think the meat has to be processed a certain way. There's certain blessings that have to be said over the meat.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's look that up. Um, how is meat
Kosher meat.
considered to be kosher or halal? Kosher meat must be butchered by by a shoshay, probably not saying that right, and soaked before cooking. Halal meat must be butchered in a specific way and healthy at the time of slaughter. The name of Allah must also be invoked for meat to be considered halal. There's a whole article on this. It goes into a lot more for sure.
Hmm.
Both regulate the slaughtering of animals. Both halal and kosher diets have guidelines regarding how meat should be slaughtered prior to consumption. For meat to be considered kosher, it must be butchered by a shoshay, which is a person trained to slaughter animals in accordance with Jewish law. Oh, jumped around. What happened here? Okay, here we go. Meats must also be soaked to ensure that all blood is removed before cooking. Under halal guidelines, animals must be healthy at the time of slaughter and killed using a specific method, which involves cutting the jugular vein. At the time of slaughter, the name of Allah must also be invoked for a meat to be considered halal. In some cases, kosher certified meat may be accepted as halal due to the similarities in slaughtering practices. Kosher and halal diets set strict guidelines regarding which foods are permitted in accordance with Jewish and Islamic laws, respectively. Both diets have specific rules regarding the slaughtering of animals, and both also restrict certain types of meat. However, halal diets prohibit other foods, including foods that contain alcohol or blood, while kosher diets limit specific food pairings. Yeah, that part I know. Yeah, so there's some differences. There's some things that are similar, some things that are different. Yeah, and then it goes into like kosher diets, halal diets. Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. But I think it's also, I'd probably have to dig further, but I think it's also how the animals are treated, what they're fed, how they're kept.
Yeah, I believe so. Because there are some farms that take very good care of cows, and their milk is sold for a much higher price
Hmm,
for the reason that they are being treated differently than other buffaloes that are
hmm,
kept for just milk.
hmm. Do you drink dairy?
Buffalo milk.
You have
Yeah.
buffalo milk?
Yeah, it's much more common here.
Oh, interesting.
Buffalo is much more common than cow.
Interesting.
So
Why
when
is
people think of India, they think of cows, but actually buffaloes are more everywhere.
why do you think that's the case?
I think maybe scarcity of cows, and the other thing would be religious thing. They don't want to mistreat the cow.
Hmm,
If they are bringing in a cow, they have to be treated with respect
hmm. But
because of
buffaloes
the
don't have to be
symbols.
treated with respect.
They are cousins of cows, so
Mhm.
we have to treat God with respect, not their cousins. Maybe.
Yeah, because cow is considered to be a holy animal, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. But you
and
can.
that is why
The
beef is banned in India.
Oh, is it completely banned?
Yeah, and whatever beef you get here is mostly buffalo beef.
Interesting. So, can you? Is there a way to get cow beef or cow's milk or?
Cow's milk is available everywhere,
Okay, so cow's milk
but
is okay.
yeah, but it tastes kind slightly different than buffalo milk. Buffalo milk is almost neutral
Hmm.
in taste, and cow milk has some, I don't know, nutty or pungent flavor
Hmm.
that doesn't sit well if you are making tea, chai.
Hmm. Maybe that's because you're used to consuming buffalo milk.
Yeah, it's much more neutral.
Yeah, because here I bet you, if I was to have buffalo milk, I might say the opposite from you.
Yeah. I'll tell you something interesting that remind that's related to this. So
Okay.
I live in Mumbai,
Hmm.
and Gujarat is like maybe 100 kilometers from here, I think 100 or 150 kilometers, not sure.
Right.
But whenever you move from this Maharashtra state to Gujarat state, the taste of water completely changes.
Really.
Drinking water.
Hmm.
Can you believe that?
I mean, I bet you just the chemical composition is quite a bit different now. Or is it more of just
Yeah,
like a,
the
yeah,
yeah, maybe it's more salty there,
maybe.
or maybe the salt composition is different. We don't know. But nowadays, of course, if you buy the those bottled water, you
Hmm.
won't find that difference. But regular drinking water, if you taste here and there, it's a massive difference. It almost tastes bitter there.
Hmm. I know, like, because I've been to Florida quite a bit, and certain parts of Florida, the water is very like I think there's a lot of sulfur in the water.
Hmm.
So you go to certain areas of Florida and you can smell the sulfur in the air from the water.
Uh,
And when you drink the water compared to here, it's quite a bit different. Like you really taste a difference. So I really
uh,
think it must come down to the chemical composition. Or maybe
yeah,
maybe that's the same chemicals, but maybe just more of one chemical, not as much of another, and then vice versa in another area. And like I
yeah.
think our taste buds can pick that up.
Some chemical is a mismatch, definitely.
Yeah.
And when you said sulfur, that reminded me of a very interesting place in India.
Hmm.
I think we are talking lot more about India. Is
That's
that
okay.
okay?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
very interested. I don't know a lot about India.
right. No, I'm thinking about our viewers. Do they really want to hear a lot about India?
Who would not want to hear
Please
a lot about
comment.
India? Yeah. Yeah, leave comments. All of you that are still if you're still watching this right now, good for you. Good for you. I'm
Bec-
proud of you. I'm proud of you.
And we must be doing something right.
Yeah. That's amazing. Leave something. If you're still watching, leave a comment to let us know that you're still watching because we'll be
Yeah,
seriously
even
impressed.
even an emoji or a smiley,
Yeah.
that's okay too.
Yeah. Just something. Just something. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, so yeah,
so
tell us more about India.
yeah.
It's fine.
So there is this place called Manikaran.
Okay.
It's at a very high altitude, and
Money
you
Kern.
won't Manikaran. It's at a very high altitude, and you would be expecting the water to be cold, right? Because it's a hilly mountain, snowy mountain. The water is supposed to be cold. But
I'm trying to look it
surprisingly,
up.
yeah,
How do you spell it?
Mani
Oh, Mani. Ah, here we go. I found it. Yeah.
Manikaran.
Money Kern. Manikaran. Oh, it looks nice.
Yeah,
Hot
it's
water
beautiful.
springs.
It's a very small town, but that's what the most surprising thing is. They have hot water everywhere, naturally coming out of the earth,
Yeah, there's hot springs. I can see pictures of them.
and it's boiling. You can
That's cool.
literally see water popping up, bubbles forming. It's that hot.
Well, it's like it's almost like as far north as you could go in India.
Yeah, it's in Himachal.
Himachal Pradesh.
That state is known for the mountains.
Nice. I want to get a different view. Yeah, but anyways, continue. Are there a lot of monkeys in that area?
Monkeys are everywhere in India.
Monkeys are awesome. I've seen all these like really cool documentaries of monkeys in India at these hot springs and they just bathe there. But it's also really cold in that area too, right?
Yeah, it is cold. When I was there, I wasn't able to breathe.
Oh wow. It's not that it's high up. The altitude is
Yeah,
that high.
yeah. So I really got sick over there. But these hot springs, someone said that I should go there and inhale the steam coming from that. And I don't know, it didn't help that much, but at least it gave me something to pacify myself.
I'm watching a video that somebody took, 7 second video. It looks very peaceful.
It is, yeah. In fact, the whole state of Himachal, it has so many serene places. You can always go for a vacation there.
Looks awesome.
Every town there is very peaceful.
It looks really nice. What is the healthcare like there?
That's a tangential question. Okay. Speaking of healthcare, yeah, it's bad
I would think so.
because when I was looking for a doctor, I couldn't find one. Imagine that.
Yeah. I'd imagine if
Imagine.
you get sick in this area, like you're in trouble.
Yeah, and the hotel owner, he scared me. He said, "We can take you to another city by an ambulance. The ambulance will take around an hour to come here, and then they don't even have an ambulance there. So the ambulance has to be called from outside, and then they would have taken me if if the condition had gotten worse.
Well, what was
That
going
was the
on?
case.
What were you got sick with something?
Yeah, I have this condition, asthma,
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
it gets worse at higher altitudes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't bother me much, but only in cold places and higher altitudes it can be very, very uneasy to breathe.
Yeah, it looks like there's not much infrastructure there. It's like all this. It doesn't look like there's a lot of place where there's people that have settled because I'm looking at all the pictures and it's all of exactly the same spot. Looks like you
Yeah,
could
it's a
walk
very
through
small
this.
town.
Yeah, it looks like you walk through this town in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like there are, I think, five temples there. They are all in the same place, but there is a one delta there. Delta is a place where three rivers meet.
Hmm.
That also is in Manikaran.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. So is this pool? There's like a pool in the middle of the town, like a big pool. Is that
Yeah,
that's a natural water? That's a
yeah.
nat. That's
It,
is
it's the
that
same hot water
okay?
that is
That's
being flown into that pool.
okay.
So it's inside a religious temple, so
Okay,
you can uh, have a religious visit and a bath as well.
interesting. I wonder
And
how
and the water
healthy that
is too
is, though.
hot,
To
so yeah, it is healthy because I have tried that.
okay,
The water is too hot, so we can't really bath in that water. So they mix it with cold water. There are two inflowing pipes there, one for the hot and one for the cold,
interesting.
and they bring it to the moderate temperature.
I mean, it looks beautiful, especially with like the mountains in the background. It's cool.
You took me back there. I was there, I think, 7 years back, 6 or 7 years back.
Who'd you go with?
Friends,
Nice.
the people there are really lovely,
I'm
very
sure.
kind, very,
I'm sure.
very humble, down to earth.
So, how would you get there? Like you'd have to fly into a the close. What's the closest city that you'd fly into? A city close by? No.
I think Chandigarh would be the closest. Chandigarh city. You can fly over there, and then you can take a cab or buses. Buses are pretty common there.
Great Himalayan National Park. Wild. Oh, Kashmir. Have you ever been to Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir.
No, I've never been there.
That looks amazing. Wow.
Kashmir is much more beautiful, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow. Look at that. Now,
And
you
then
can't see any of
there
these
is
photos, but it looks incredible.
there is also Leh Ladakh.
What's it called? Layla duck?
Yeah, Ladakh or Leh, both are neighboring cities.
Okay. Ladakh. I see Ladakh.
Yeah, so that's also known for its beauty.
This looks like it's like in the middle of the Himalayas too. Ladakh.
Yeah, it's exactly at the India-China border.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Wild. Amazing. What an amazing area. I'd love to go visit there.
Yeah, maybe soon this channel will turn into a travel vlog or something.
You never know, man. It's
Yeah,
possible. It's very possible.
I would love that.
Yeah, be great.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, be fantastic. All right, my man. Well, I'm gonna put an end to this
Yeah,
because
sure.
it's yeah, it's 11:15 here.
Yeah, you might be feeling sleepy.
Not yet, but I'm trying to stick to a decent schedule
Hmm.
because me and my sleep is a problem. But it's
Did
been
you
a
try
pleasure.
anything this week?
I did. I've been wearing earplugs because I noticed that it is quite noisy, the streets here.
Mm,
I live in a pretty fairly populated area. Probably not nearly as populated as where you're at, but it's still pretty populated. So it's always busy. There's a lot of sirens constantly going off at night because I'm close
yeah,
to a police station and a fire station. So there's always, I guess, calls coming in. You constantly hear sirens, and then and then the street that is close to my place is a main street. It's like it's almost, I mean, it's not a full on highway, but it's like a super highway. And so basically means it's like a highway just with lights. And there's always people racing. So you
racing.
constantly hear
Oh,
people revving their engines and
zoom,
oh
zoom.
yeah. Oh yeah. So I think that was causing a
Yeah, that can
problem.
be annoying.
I think
I
that was
can
part of
relate
the
because
problem.
my bedroom is just facing to you know, the street in the front,
Hmm.
and that street is connected to an important street,
Hmm.
and it's always noisy.
Hmm.
Even when I'm sleeping, there is always honking and something going on.
Yeah, so that'll wake you up. So I tried to wear earplugs and that helped for one of the nights. I slept amazing. And then I tried to wear earplugs last night, the next night, which was last night, and I still woke up after like an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleeping. And then I was up for basically the whole entire night.
Okay.
So I don't know. I have no idea. It's craziness. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I'm going to try to get myself in the frame of mind to sleep. And we'll do this again next week. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
getting better every week, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have an
All
awesome
right.
week. And
You too.
thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon.
Thank you. I'll
Okay.
see you again. Bye.
Bye.